Good morning, everyone. My name is Miss Kavita, and I'm from the Lilburn branch of the Gwinnett County Public Library. Welcome to our Black History Month program. What is Black History Month? Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing their central role in U.S. history. Also known as African American History Month, this celebration takes place in the month of February. Black History Month was first proposed by Black educators and the Black United Students at Kent State University in February of 1969. The first celebration of Black History Month took place at Kent State 1 year later on January 2nd and lasted until February 28th of 1970. 6 years later, Black History Month was being celebrated across the country in educational institutions, centers of Black culture and community centers, both great and small, when President Gerald Ford recognized Black History Month during the United States bicentennial celebration. He urged Americans to, and I quote, seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history, end quote. Black History Month honors Black people from all periods of U.S. history, from the enslaved people first brought over from Africa in the early 17th century to African Americans living in the United States today. A few of the notable figures often spotlighted during Black History Month celebration are Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who fought for equal rights for African Americans during the 50s and 60s. Thurgood Marshall, the first African American justice appointed to the United States Supreme Court in 1967. Mae Jemison, who became the first female African American astronaut to travel to space in 1992. And of course, Barack Obama, who was elected the first ever African American president of the United States in 2008. However, there are many more notable African Americans who have made a difference in the world today and shaped our history. One such person who we are going to learn a little more about is Wangari Maathai. Wangari Maathai was a Kenyan social, environmental, and political activist, founder of the GreenBelt Movement, and the first African woman to win the Nobel Prize. She was also the first female scholar from East and Central Africa to receive a doctorate, and the first female professor ever in her home country of Kenya. She revolutionized the concept of planting trees and creating a green umbrella for the world around us. Let us start our program first with a short story, and after which we're going to learn a little more about Wangari Maathai. Are you ready? The story is called We Planted a Tree. It is written by Diane Muldrow and illustrated by Bob Starr. We planted a tree. We planted a tree and it grew up. The tree fed us apples and oranges and lemons and sap for our syrup. We planted a tree and it grew up. The tree kept the soil from blowing away. Now rainwater could stay in the earth. The soil became healthier because the tree was there. So we planted. We planted butternut squash and beans, corn and onions and cabbage in the healthy soil, the rich, dark dirt. We could grow our own food and we ate better. And it dropped acorns that fed the squirrels in the winter. And the birds came and other animals came too to live in the tree. We planted a tree and that one tree made the world better. And that one tree helped heal the earth. We planted a tree and it grew up, and so did we. Wasn't that a wonderful story? Well, let's learn more about Wangari Maathai. I'm sure you're going to love this presentation. Let's Plant the Future, a Black History Month celebration. Wangari Maathai was an environmental activist born in the small village of Nyeri on April 1, 1940, under an umbrella of green trees in the shadow of Mount Kenya. She watched the birds in the forest where she went with her mother to gather firewood. Her father was a farmer. She helped her father harvest sweet potatoes, sugarcane, and maize from the rich soil. Wangari did very well in school and went on to win a scholarship to study in America. She got her bachelor's degree in biology and a master's degree in biological sciences. 6 years later, after completing her education, Wangari returned home to Kenya and saw a drastic change. What happened? She wondered. Where are all the trees? Wangari saw women bent from carrying firewood miles and miles from home. She saw barren land where no crops grew. And where are all the birds? She wondered. Thousands of trees had been cut down to make room for buildings, but no one had planted new trees. Will all of Kenya become a desert? She wondered as she cried. She thought about a barren land. I can begin to replace some of the lost trees here in my own backyard, one tree at a time, she thought. And she started by planting 9 seedlings. Watching the seedlings grow gave Wangari the idea to plant more, to start a farm for baby trees, like a nursery. In an open space, she planted row after row of tiny trees. Next, Wangari convinced the village women that planting trees is a good thing. She gave each of them a seedling and said, "Our lives will be better when we have trees again. You'll see, we are planting the seeds of hope." The women spread out over their village, planting tiny trees in long rows, like a green belt stretching over the land. The government men laughed and said, "Women can't do this. It takes trained foresters to plant trees." The women ignored the laughter and kept planting. Wangari paid the women a small amount for each seedling that was still living after 3 months, and their first earnings ever. Word about the green returning to Wangari's village traveled fast. Soon other women in other villages, towns, and cities in Kenya started planting rows of seedlings as well. But the cutting continued. Wangari stood tall to protect old trees still remaining. "We need a park more than we need an office tower," she said. The government men disagreed and called Wangari a troublemaker and put her in jail. She still stood tall and believed that right is right, even if you are alone. But Wangari was not alone. Talk of the trees spread over all of Africa. More women heard the talk and planted even more seedlings in longer and longer rows. The seedlings took root and grew tall until there were over 30 million trees where there were none at one time. The umbrella of green in Kenya had returned. Women walked tall, their backs straight, for now they could gather firewood closer to home. The land was no longer barren. Sweet potatoes, sugarcane, and maize grew again in the rich red earth. The whole world heard of Wangari's trees and her army of women who planted them. If you were to climb to the very top of Mount Kenya today, you would see millions of trees growing below you, and the green that Wangari brought back to Africa. This was called the GreenBelt Movement. Wangari began to travel, telling her story to school children, teachers, farmers, and presidents all over the world. She shared the seeds of change with everyone. Soon, she was called Mama Miti, which means Mother of Trees. In 2004, Wangari won the Nobel Peace Prize, the most prestigious peace prize in the world. She understood that persistence, patience, and commitment to an idea as small as a seed but as tall as a tree must be planted in every child's heart. Young people, you are our hope and our future, she said. And then, as she had done many times before, she planted a tree. That was wonderful. So, how about planting some trees and some seeds to make big, beautiful trees? But before that, let's make a simple craft. All you will need is a toilet paper roll, crayons, scissors, and some construction paper. While you gather these materials, make sure you have a grown up with you while you use the scissors. So, all you need to do is color the roll brown with the crayon like a tree trunk and cut 2 slits on the top of the roll on opposite sides. Now cut the green construction paper to resemble a tree. Additionally, you can also cut flowers or fruits from different colored paper and glue on to the tree. Insert the tree cutout into the slits on the trunk, and your simple tree craft is ready. I think that was wonderful. I hope you enjoyed the program as much as I did. And don't forget, at GCPL, we have many fiction and non-fiction books on Wangari Maathai, as well as several other African American notables. Check them out today. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.